A disappointing series loss for the Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles. This was one which they certainly could have won the series. It looked like they were going to during the second game, and it slipped away with an 8-run Baltimore seventh inning. And then the Yankees' bats were just completely silenced in the third game. So what was a very fun, the first game was a nice comeback by the Yankees. Garrett Cole did not pitch very well, but you got a Judge tying homer in the ninth, walk-off sac fly for Anthony Volpe, and you're feeling good about things, right? Coming off of, a really good road trip, and the Yankees at that point got to 30-20, so, a 600 winning percentage at the time. And just from there, really you're just looking to win the series, home against Baltimore, who, had, who've been playing really well lately, who is ahead of you in the division. And Baltimore comes in Yankee Stadium, wins 2 out of 3. Now, this is after the Yankees earlier in the season took 2 out of 3 from Baltimore at Camden Yards. So you've seen a little bit of that, right? Where it's been close, where Toronto won the series at Yankee Stadium, only for the Yankees to go on the road and win the series at the Rogers Center. With Tampa, it's not a fair comparison because it was a 4-game set, but a similar situation where, the point is that the Yankees have basically been about 500 versus the AL East in 6 series versus Tampa, Baltimore, and Toronto, and they have not played Boston yet. So this stings. Is it anything overly concerning? No, but it's definitely one in which you look to the second game as the big one that you should have had, up 5-1 in the seventh inning with Nestor Cortes cruising, and it all falls apart. And that's been an issue for Cortes, and that's where the blame lies. It's not fair, to blame Boone for any decision making that was made there. It was what they had to do. And look, this bullpen is running on fumes, and the bullpen did struggle in these 2 losses. Whether it be guys that have kind of come through, whether it be more depth, arms, but that's just what it was. So the Yankees dropped to 30-22. Again, it just stings. It stings because you had it, and let's say they, everything happened the way it did the first games, but the Yankees won the third game. I didn't find that as well because look, the first game, Baltimore's thinking, how do we let this, how do we blow this, right? So, but it didn't work out that way, and so the Orioles continue to do well. The Orioles are 3 back of the Rays, only 2 on the loss side. Meanwhile, the Yankees are 7 back of the Rays now of first place, and not for nothing, 5 back on the loss of Baltimore. So it is going to be tough, and the Yankees will continue their homestand versus the San Diego Padres, who have really been scuffling, and they are coming off of a pretty emotional win where Rougned Odor, the former Yankee, homered in the 9th inning. They were trailing, and he homered, and it gave him the win. So either it's the perfect time to play San Diego or it's not, right? And I believe that Manny Machado will not be playing in the series. At the very least, he won't be playing the first game, right? Maybe he makes his way back by the end of it, but they're a little beaten up right now. But that's a team with a lot of talent, and in the first game of the series, we'll do a little soft preview. Randy Vasquez is making his MLB debut, so kind of taking the spot of Johnny Brito while Domingo Germán is still serving that suspension. So Nick Ramirez sent down, which wasn't surprising considering he pitched the last 2 nights. So Ramirez goes down to Scranton, and up is Randy Vasquez. And, I'm not sure how that's going to go exactly. And for Vasquez, I believe the plan is for him to start. I think he's going to be the starter. Expect to also maybe see Ryan Weber because he hasn't pitched since the Red Series, so definitely think you might see him as well, unless somehow Vasquez pitches really well. He hasn't pitched in a while, so he should give you length if he's effective, which, that remains to be seen whether that happens, but that's going to be a tough one versus Joe Musgrove, who has struggled this season. So we shall see, and then we'll talk about the last team of the series after we go through this Yankee-Baltimore AL East clash. So, it started out fun. Like the end result of the first game started out fun, but actually, Garrett Cole really struggled. And, hasn't been great lately, just overall. There's been some good starts in there, but look, 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 2 homers. It's an ugly line, and he really just did not pitch very well. So, he got up to a fantastic start, and I would say the last, what has it probably been, maybe 4 to 5 starts have just not been quite there. Again, some of them mixed in have been pretty good, but he's not really getting you. You're looking for Cole to get you 7 innings. Honestly, with the way that everything's been going, with the bullpen being overworked and the starters not giving you any length, but he only goes five plus in this case, right? I think it was 5 plus, but in this one, just in terms of the lineup, really, at this point, it's settled into Gleyber Torres being the leadoff guy. That's basically been a theme for a while now, and then like again, the first 4 or 5 are the first 6 or so are basically what you'd expect. Certainly against righties, you kind of know the first 6 in the lineup are going to be, and then after that, I guess maybe the first. I don't know. I guess there's a general pattern to the lineup, but obviously things do change. There is still quite a bit of dead weight towards the end there, but let's get into it. So Cole versus for Baltimore, it was Kyle Bradish, and Bradish wasn't very good either. So Kyle Bradish, that's the thing. Yankees really got to Bradish and to Wells, but then tonight, Kyle Gibson, who never has done well against the Yankees and really had not done well at all this season, really pitched a gem, and so that was unfortunate. But the Yankees did get to Bradish, but the Orioles strike first. In the first inning, it's a 2-out rally. And we saw Baltimore's pesky. We saw that. Again, this Baltimore team is good. Very good, I should say. They got a good lineup. They got a good bullpen. The only thing that could hold them back is the starting rotation. But I'm telling you, this Orioles team should very much be in the playoff hunt. Like, will they make it? Maybe not. But there's no reason to think that, they're just going to drop off just because the Orioles have not been good in recent years. We saw the beginning of something different last year, and they're carrying it over. And look, I think this is a really solid team. And it's just that AL East arms race is going to be very, very competitive. So, unfortunately, a couple of walks by Cole, the Santander and Mountcastle, and that kills you. And the Yankees there was a lot of key walks, I felt like. And so give credit to Baltimore, but the Yankees pitching, which normally walks isn't an issue, right? They're one of the better teams in terms of walk prevention, but that was not the case in this series. So Adam Frazier, who has a new Oriole and is really coming along now. It got up to a bit of a slow start and really had a good series. Gets a 2-run double off of the glove of Aaron Judge. That was too bad. It was a nice attempt, but he was unable to come down with it. So that makes it 2-0 Baltimore. Then the home run ball eats Cole. And that's the thing, too. When he was doing well, no home runs. Lately, it's back. Cedric Mullins homer makes it 3-0 in the third. And then in the fourth, Gunnar Henderson. So Gunnar Henderson, I thought he had a pretty solid series for a player, a young prospect, one of the most highly touted prospects in the game who had struggled. I thought the series he was pretty good. That makes it 4-0. But the Yankees get it back going, and it's Harrison Bader. Bader with the homer makes it 4-1. And then the fifth inning was a nice Yankee rally. This was probably, the Yankees' most effective inning all series long offensively. And Oswaldo Cabrera starts off with a single, then Gleyber does, then Judge lines out, and then it's an Anthony Rizzo RBI double makes it 4-2. Then a DJ LeMahieu RBI single makes it 4-3, and then a Bader sac fly makes it 4-4, all off of Bradish, and so it's tied. So then you're looking for a shutdown inning for Garrett Cole, and you don't get it. You don't get the shutdown inning, and that's frustrating. A Mountcastle single, and then a Frazier single, and he's out of the game. Marinaccio, bad luck for Marinaccio. He almost gets out of it. He strikes at Hayes, and then you have a lucky sort of infield single by Gunnar Henderson, where there was nothing anyone could do about it, and then it's a sort of a soft grounder by Favre to Rizzo, and he's got to go to first, and so it's 5-4 Orioles. But and then Mullins hits a deep fly ball at 2 outs with the bases loaded, but it dies at the warning track. If that goes out, it's ball game. So Yankees were fortunate there. In the seventh, good job at Marinaccio going 1-2-3. So he goes 2 innings, keeps the Yanks in the game. Cano comes on for Baltimore, who has been unbelievable for the Orioles. Him and Bautista have been a great tandem in the back of that Baltimore pen. And the Yankees are in a situation where it was first and third, one out. Now, Rizzo hits a dunk single to left. Glaber got a good jump on it. And if I'm Luis Rojas, I'm sending him. And I don't know if it's because Ross has had some bad sends that he kind of pulled back on this one, but I would have sent Torres. They didn't. And then DJ LeMahieu, inexplicably, 2 pitches in a row attempts to bunt, and the second one he does lay it down. It was not a good bunt. Glaber easily thrown out at home. And so for LeMahieu, look, he's been scuffling quite a bit lately. So, his average is about 250. He didn't play the third game. I don't know. For LeMahieu, it's not the same as it used to be. I'll say this, to be fair to him, before he got hurt last year, he really was in a bit of a groove. So it's not to say he couldn't get it back, but for DJ, it's just the 19-20 LeMahieu, it's not there. The 21, 22, 23, whether it be injuries or just, sort of average, that's just what we're seeing from DJ. So, not a good job there with the bunt. I don't hate it on the first one, catching him off guard, but to do it on the second one, that was crazy. So it remains 5-4. Wandy Peralta comes on in the 8th, pitches a 1-2-3 inning. Then in the bottom of the 8th with 2 out, Jake Bauers pinch hits for Higashioka and doubles. One of the rare good things from Bauers. Again, I'm not a big fan of Jake Bauers, and my hope is that when all is said and done, he will not last on this roster. I just don't think he brings enough to the table. And then Oswaldo Cabrera strikes out 10 in the inning. And for Oswaldo, ideally he'd be in AAA. I just think there's so much dead weight that it's like he remains on the roster. And I like the kid, I do, but I think he could use some time in AAA. And maybe that does happen when Donaldson returns, but I don't really know if that affects Oswaldo so much. Oswaldo plays more outfield than anything, I'd say. So in the 9th, Michael King comes on. It was a risky move by Boone, bringing King in down by 1. But he does, and it ends up working out. And Michael King is, to me, I really like Wandy, but Michael King is like the guy out of the pen. He is, and this dates back to last season. If there's one player that I trust the most, I think it's King. He is so vital to that pen. It's really important. And he pitches a scoreless 9th, gives the Yankees a chance, and they do take advantage of that chance. Bautista blows the save of the 9th, and it would be Aaron Judge, who it's a hanging, it was a bad pitch. Let's be honest. A bad pitch by Bautista as he hangs the splitter on 0-2, and Judge crushes it for his 14th homer of the season. And we're we got a 5-5 game. So we head to the 10th, and Michael King in his career, and I think mostly really the last 2 seasons, when you've had the Ghost Runner, he's been excellent in that 10th inning of not allowing a run. Strikes out Santander, strikes out Mountcastle, and then Frazier with a sort of a humpback line to Volpe. And so that's exactly what you needed. You go into the bottom of the 10th against Brian Baker, and with Connor Falefa pinch running for LeMahieu, good job of base running by Connor Falefa as Bader grounds out to third, but Connor Falefa goes to third. So that was a good base running right there. Then Calhoun's intentionally walking. It sets the stage for Volpe. And even though Volpe's been struggling lately, and he has been, Anthony Volpe has hit the skids. He's not been great lately, really defensively or offensively. But here, a really nice job by him. First pitch swinging, sac fly. And that's key. In sac fly situations, I want you first pitch swinging and trying to hit a fly ball. It's exactly what he does. And the Yankees win 6-5. So Judge ties it with the homer, and Volpe wins with the sac fly. The vibes were really good at this point. Really, really good. And it carried over into game 2. It really, really did. So in game 2, it is Nestor Cortes against Tyler Wells. And this started out pretty well. Now, this was a rain delay start. So, and I feel like these rain delay, over the last few years, like these rain delay games, that like they end up not working out so well for the Yankees, and maybe the sample size is short. And I think it was mostly a few years ago, but either way, we jumped to the 3rd inning, and Cortes looked good. And let's remember, Cortes has been better lately, But the real problem with him is the third time through the order, it's been a total fucking nightmare. Bottom of the third, it's a Connor for left for triple with one out. And then with two out, Gleyber Torres homers. It's a 2-run shot for Gleyber, and the Yankees take a 2-0 lead. But then the next inning, Ryan Mountcastle, he homers. Solo shot makes it 2-1. In the bottom of the fifth, the Yankees are at it again. Anthony Volpe walk, and then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with a 2-run homer. So that's a triple and a homer. IKF's been pretty good lately, I gotta say. And I like his attitude, right? Like, look, he lost the shortstop job. He's still on the team, and he's been better lately. He's got 3 home runs in pretty short order. But he's got, I guess, probably about 3 homers in about a week span, give or take. And yeah, so that makes it 4-1. Then, not to be outdone, Gleyber, another homer. His 9th of the season, 2nd of the night, makes it 5-1 Yanks. And it's a good 6th inning for Nestor. And the pitch count was low, but the 7th, it all goes to shit. And this was the turning point in the series right here. He walks Anthony Santander to start, and if you're Nestor, you cannot do that. And then Austin Hayes singles. This is a play that it was a line drive that, you wish Volpe could have somehow come up with. It wasn't Volpe's fault, but it just sucks because Volpe has not really been, airtight defensively. It's been a struggle. It has been, but you can't kill him there at all. And then it is a big 3-run homer for Adam Frazier, lefty, off of the right field foul pole. And right there, it's like, fuck, this is going to be problems. And so Cortes is out of the game. Jimmy Cordero comes on, and Cordero, he's been very good. I have said here that I don't really trust Cordero in big spots, and that was proven true here. But, it's a little unfair to him, right? Because, he has come through at times, but Cordero, I guess my point is just in watching him, like him as a depth piece, don't really like him in high leverage spots. It's just a gut thing for me. And leadoff single, not leadoff, but for Cordero it was. Leadoff single for James McCann, single for Jorge Mateo. So that right there is a problem. Then Gunnar Henderson pinch hits and gets a 2-run double down the right field line, makes it 6-5 Baltimore. Then with one out, Kyle Higashioka pass ball. For Higgy, he, for some reason, more than any catcher I can remember, even more than Gary Sanchez possibly, just easy pitches to catch. He'll just drop them. I'm not sure if anyone else notices that. And so that's a pass ball that should never have happened, and that kind of led to some shit. Adley Rutschman walks, Albert Abreu comes on, and for Abreu, it's hit or miss, right? You don't really know what Albert Abreu you're going to get, and this was not a good one. It's a sac fly for Mountcastle, and in that moment, I'm thinking, all right, Higgy kind of led to that, right? But then things kind of get worse, so it's like maybe they would have scored anyway. Because Anthony Santander gets an RBI single. He moves to second on a throwing error by Bader that Higashio couldn't keep in front of him, which then leads to an Austin Hayes RBI single. So that one, out of all that, at least one run that should not have happened did happen for Baltimore. Things got sloppy, and it becomes 9-5 Orioles. So bad by Cortes, Cordero, Abreu, Higashioka. Just a total mess. But in the 7th, Yankees have their one chance. And it's against Michael Givens. One out walk by Calhoun as a pinch hitter. Then Gleyber is hit by a pitch. You get a wild pitch, Judge walks. And the lefty, Danny Calhoun, comes on. And Anthony Rizzo singles. RBI single. All right, here we go. Quick response. It's 9-6. But then DJ LeMahieu strikes out. And the strikeouts for LeMahieu have been, a lot. They have been a lot. And so... that's bad. Look, he's come through in those situations. To be fair to him, the one good thing about DJ this year is the runners and score position numbers. But then Harrison Bader grounds out, and so there it stays 9-6. And so Abreu pitches a scoreless 8th. Yankees go down 1-2-3 in the 8th. And Nick Ramirez actually with the last 4 outs of this game. And for the Yanks, Felix Bautista comes on. There was a 2-out walk to Judge, and then the game ends on an Anthony Rizzo strikeout. So a big win for the Orioles, a blown loss for the Yankees, and that hurts. So you go to game 3, and the Yankees had been good in these spots, right? During the season, you think back, in these sort of rubber games, more than not, a lot more than not, the Yankees win them. Not tonight. And it was Clark Schmidt on the mound versus Kyle Gibson. Clark Schmidt pitched pretty well, and it was, kind of unfair to him. that his pitch count was so high. He only goes 5 innings. He threw 97 pitches, and really, I can't kill him for it. Anthony Volpe with a really, it wasn't ruled an error, but it's a play he needs to make. And then some really spotty, balls and strikes by Moscoso, the ump. Just really bad. And Boone gets ejected in this game as well. But yeah, so what could have been a 12-pitch first inning after Volpe fucks up ends up being a near 30-pitch first inning. No runs were scored. And so Gibson was pitching really well. So was Schmidt. Boone gets rung up in the middle of the third. Schmidt was probably getting squeezed a bit by the ump, no doubt about it. And then in the fifth, a 1-out double by Adam Frazier on an 0-2 pitch. He dunks one to left. And then with 2 out, Anthony Santander, RBI single under the glove of Rizzo, makes it 1-0 Orioles. So Schmidt, unfortunately, would be in line for the loss, and he would lose. It'd be his 5th loss of the season. So, you think about who in games pitched by certain pitchers. They've lost a lot of the starts started by Clark Schmidt. This one not really being his fault. So, in the 6th, Nick Ramirez comes on, and a bit unlucky, although a bad job by him not being able to catch a ball on a throw by Rizzo. We saw this back-to-back innings, although double plays happened after them as Jimmy Cordero comes on and gets a big double play, keeps it at 1-0. So give Cordero credit there. In the 7th, Cordero does the same thing, where he drops the ball on a throw by Rizzo, another error, but then Wandy comes on and he gets a double play. So we go to the 7th, Willie Calhoun. Willie Calhoun, I would stick with him. I hope he lasts on this team more so than other players, right? He should be in the lineup versus righties, in the middle of that lineup all the time. I know the numbers aren't quite there, but I like what I see from him. I like the at-bat quality, and, he can put the ball in play. It's leadoff single for Calhoun, then Volpe strikes out, and that's been an issue for him, and then as well, the Cabrera double play. Cabrera really, again, it's just, he has not been very good this season. And then Wandy Peralta, inexplicably, leadoff walk Santander, 1-out walk Gunnar Henderson. So that's just awful. And Wandy, look, sometimes the walks do bite him. They do sometimes. He's someone that's, when he needs to throw strikes, he's usually capable, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have walks. And then Clay Holmes comes on and doesn't get the job done. A huge 2-run double by Austin Hayes. So the combination of Peralta and Holmes fails them, and it's 3-0 Baltimore. Mike Baumann comes on for Gibson, 1-2-3 8th. Bowers pinch hits for Rortvedt and strikes out. I would give Ben Rortvedt more of a look. He had a couple of walks in this game. I think Rortvedt's been solid. So, in terms of Higashioka and whatever, I would let it be a 50-50 type split, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be. So now we go to the 9th. Albert Abreu pitches 1-2-3 9th. And then Cano comes on for the Orioles, and he allows his first walk of the season. Judge hits a leadoff walk. With 2 out, Willie Calhoun gets an RBI double. Keeps it alive, and so Volpe's the tying run, but he flies out sharply to center. The Orioles win the series, and the Yankees drop to 30-22. So in previewing this Padres series, I already discussed the first game. The last 2 games are as follows. It will be Michael Wacha, who got off to a bit of a rough start with the Padres, but has been really good lately, against Luis Severino, making his Yankee Stadium season debut. And then Sunday should be, on paper, a really good matchup. Yu Darvish, who this year has not been great, but we know what he's capable of, versus Garrett Cole. And Cole is going to look to rebound. So this will be interesting. The Padres, who are 23-27, but looking to get things going against the Yanks. And again, for the Yankees, hopefully they can take 2 out of 3. This was an unfortunate series for the Yankees, and really, again, you look to Game 2, and that's where this whole series turned, right in that 7th inning. So, again, Orioles coming to Yankee Stadium, take 2 out of 3, and now San Diego comes in, and this should be an interesting weekend series before the Yankees head out west.